Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Evolving Entrepreneur Podcast. We are very excited to have you. Hello, and welcome to the Evolving Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, our guest is Michelle Terrill, and I'm very lucky to have her on our show today because me and Michelle go way, way back. This is one of my best friends. We go all the way back to college days,
We
and
do.
now that feel like a long time ago. So, yes, and you know what? I can't wait till you all hear about Michelle's journey because she has a fantastic one and a journey full of growth. And some people they start businesses out of just for the money, but this is something that's deeply connected to her. And I can't wait for her to share her experience. Now, Michelle has a hair company. She sells hair products and it's for your natural hair girlies, you know what I mean? And it's all about hair growth and maintaining healthy hair. Now, Michelle, I don't know. I want you to be the one to tell them though, because I don't remember the year. Michelle had did the big chop years ago. What year was that?
Woo! I think that was like 2014, 2015.
Okay, so about a decade ago. Okay, so Michelle had did her big chop a while ago. We were in college, and I remember when she was doing it. And here's the thing: like for Black women, we're very emotionally connected to our hair. And I know that at one point it was a trend, like, "Hey, we're doing a big chop, big chop." But so many people were connected to their hair and got emotional and cried after doing the big chop because it's rooted to so much more. And I want to ask you, Michelle, like, what made you come to that decision to do the big chop of your hair, and how did that make you feel once you did it?
I was excited because my hair was so far gone from the perms and the color to the point of no return. So, of course, it was devastating, but I was ready for that new start, that new journey, so I could see what my natural hair would look like because I gotta think I was getting perms in high school and middle school. So it's been a long time. It was a long time for me that I have seen my natural hair. So for me, it was exciting. Dang, I don't even know what my hair will even look like.
Mm. I got a question for you. Cause growing up, I didn't get perms. My mom didn't put perms in our hair, and like the most it will be like she'd do our edges, right? But I never got like my forehead perm. Why do you feel like the Black community went that route and did so much? Well, we didn't know what's damage, but do so much damage to our hair.
It was easier. It was a lot easier. Like, when you got a perm, all you had to do was comb it and wrap. When you got natural hair, like you fighting to figure out what hairstyle you gonna do. And to be in school, like I wanted to be easy. You wanted to look good. That long, straight hair was the thing. Kinky hair, and it was considered nappy back then, or that's what people would call it. It wasn't considered pretty back then, but yeah, it was a lot easier to do.
Yeah. So, with you having your hair company now, and your hair company involves your daughter, and I remember you telling me that this is a healing bonding experience. It's not just about business, it's not just about the sales, but this is something that I want my daughter to be a part of because growing your hair was a journey to self love for yourself, right? And you wanted your daughter to feel that as well. I remember you explaining about how your mother had used to cut your hair as a punishment.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that and how those experiences led you to where you are now.
Oh, girl, you taking me back. Yeah, like girl. Yeah, she used to cut my hair like that. That was, I mean, as a kid, you don't even know what to think. Like, dang, like getting your hair cut as a punishment? Like, that's insane. Like, even still to this day, is something that I really can't wrap my mind around, even having my daughter, because I can't imagine myself being like, oh, you did something bad. Let me go cut your hair. It's still very weird to me. But it made me appreciate my hair more because I'm like, you you look different. You know, like, and then the way that she went in and cut it, like, it wasn't like, oh, she just gonna cut it even and cute, girl. She just went in and cut chunks out. So, oh, girl, she had me out here looking crazy. Oh, girl, ooh, yeah.
And I know that for your in that process with you, your mom didn't just cut your hair. She also said negative
Mm.
words and called you out your name. And how did that affect your self-esteem when it came to feeling like, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to do this business? Like, what was your process with all of that self-doubt being bestowed upon you? How did you get past that to get to where you are to feel confident enough to even start a business?
Girl, that stuff that I still work on to this day, because that stuff get, like, it's like imprinted into your.
Mm,
It's a day. I mean, I'm a lot better now, of course, but when growing up, like, teenage years and even early 20s, like, you don't feel good about yourself. Everything that I used to do, I used to second guess, like, am I good? Am I good enough for this? And it's not just hair, it's like day-to-day life stuff, like job and school. Like, am I smart enough? Am I good enough for the job? Like, those, girl,
how
they.
did you get past that? Like, what are the things that you tackled, or what are the habits that you created to be able to remove past those mindset barriers to get to the point where you physically like, hey, I am enough, like, hey, I can do this, even though it's a constant struggle. How did you get past the point to actually making that dream become a reality, like, hey, maybe I can do this?
I For me, I think learning how to think positive, even though we have so many negative thoughts, uh,
Mm,
replace a negative thought with the positive thought.
yeah.
And your circle of people just being around you, y'all was raised a lot differently, you know what I mean? With you having, like, my circle of friends and then my husband and everything, y'all have that more positive mindset. So it's also who I hung around too, because I'm seeing, oh, well, they can do it, or they're doing this, like, why can't I do it?
Right, why not me?
Let me figure it out, because
That is very true, and that's very it's very important to understand your community and who you have around you, because it definitely can make a huge difference, especially when you already have so much negative thoughts and what people have told you you could or couldn't be all your life, and now you're surrounded by the same type of people. How can you think differently? So
yeah,
that's very true.
that's another, the way I picked my friends, my husband, like, I know people that talk negative, and because I know what that look like and what it sounds like, I'm not going to hang around anybody that's
Mhm.
talking negative or doing negative things. I
Right.
move more towards the more positive, healthy mindset, because that's just not going to be.
You know what? So, Michelle, I know you had different journeys of entrepreneurship, and that's what this all about. I know that you did your modeling career, and I know that you did, vending machines, and we're all trying to find our place in the world. What was your struggles when you picked up something like, oh, I'm doing modeling, I'm going for a force, then like, oh, I got to put this down. Oh, picking up vending machines, and then you got to put it down. Like, how did that affect you mentally? Because like, did at any place did you like, hey, maybe entrepreneurship isn't for me? Like, how did you get past that to be able to keep going?
Oh, well, starting with the modeling thing, first off, you that was for a season, and some things don't last forever, and it's
Come
okay.
on now, girl. Say that.
Um,
Yes.
and the older I got, it's like, do I really want to do this? Like, do I really see myself doing this for this amount of time or for a lifetime? No, I do not. Um, so I just moved on to the next thing. And then when it came down to the vending stuff, like, that didn't work out. I mean, it was nice for the moment, but is there some is that something that I really want to do? No. So I think for it's getting to know yourself and what you want to do,
I
because
love that, girl.
no, because some things it's like, yeah, it sounds fun, but when you gotta put the work in to really do it, it's like, okay, I don't think I really want to do this.
Yeah, and that's the difference between hustle and passion,
And passion,
hustle and purpose. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And a lot of people jump into these. That's why sometimes they don't last. They jump in things for the money,
a
but
lot
it's not where their heart really is at.
a lot of the things that I did do is like, okay, well, I could go get this money real quick. I could go get this money, but it wasn't necessarily like a passion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, purposeful. Um, and that's the difference from my hair care is passion. Like this is something that I can do. It's something that I enjoy doing. You know?
And it's deeply connected to you. You know what I mean? It goes all the way back to your childhood and your upbringing. And that's very important that you said that because people need to understand the difference. And then, girl, I love when you said that was just for a season. For real, because people, like, I have done everything. You already know I wrote erotic romance books, girl. I did YouTube. I did insurance. I did it all because some things were just a season. And the crazy part about it, everything that I've done, I've took something from it and
Yeah.
have applied it to what I'm doing now. So maybe you in the season because you have to learn something, you have to get something from it, or it's developing a skill, but it's just a season. And that's the perfect way to look at it and not look at it, oh, did I fail at this business?
Mhm.
Did this happen? Because that'll eat you up where you may not start again. But
Yeah.
that, yes, I love that. It's only for a season. Now, with your hair product, we finna get a little bit real with this and we finna get a little colorism with this one. No, for real. I remember when you had posted a viral video on Instagram. It went viral.
Hmm.
And I remember how you were saying that when it comes to social media, sometimes it's a conflict because how light your skin is and how darker skinned women, and this is kind of like a flip role because typically darker skinned women is like a played out in a way, and lighter skinned women have more of an advantage when it comes to like beauty and things like that. But in this case, you felt like because you're light skinned and people downplay how hard it was for you to grow your hair as if it was like as if you're mixed or something. And by the way, she's not mixed, she's full black. But talk to us about that.
Yeah, I have always been mistaken as a mixed girl. And mixed girls can apparently grow their hair a lot quicker than a fully black girl.
Mhm.
Um, whoo, yeah,
Talk
it's
to me about it, girl.
frustrating.
Mhm.
It's frustrating because it's like you can't explain yourself to everybody. I
Mhm.
can't explain myself to everybody. Um,
How do you navigate that? Like, what is your like when it comes to marketing? Like, how you deal with the negative comments? Like, how do you go about that?
honestly, I just ignore it at this point. Like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Like, I don't have the time to explain. Like, if I'm promoting black hair care products, I'm black. There is no.
And you know what? It is a double standard there because even when girls who are not who are half black, half white, and they're promoting something that typically would go for a black community, they
Mhm.
will bash them, but turn around if they act fully white, quote unquote, then they'll bash them for not accepting their blackness. So sometimes it's like you can't, and that's the world. Sometimes you can't win for losing it. You have to, and that's why it's so important to stick to what you believe because you're not going to satisfy everyone. Your target audience and the people that's for your product will come, and it's best to stay true to yourself because there's several times where you could have folded or you could have tried to appear more black to satisfy the black community, even though you have nothing to prove because you are who you are. It's nothing more you could do because you are who you are. So that is a big one, and I hope that by people listening to this, it will kind of bring more awareness about stop being so naive and simple-minded
Mm.
about so many things because we all here to try to make life better for each other. So there's no purpose to putting one person down or the next because of the color of their skin, because colorism is real and it goes both ways. A lot of people don't think it goes negatively for light skinned people too, but it goes both ways and we need to outgrow that, seriously. Now, when it comes down to your business and all the things that you have been doing with your business, what would you say your biggest challenge is with the hair care industry?
Girl, it's a lot of hair care lines out here. It is a lot now. It's not just the ones that you see at the store. It's a lot of people on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook that just got their own hair care line. So you could get a hair oil or a hair cream from just about anywhere now.
Yeah, some people feel like it might be getting oversaturated in a sense. So
It does
what do you
times.
yeah, what do you do as your with your brand? Like what are ways you take to like stand out from the competition?
I don't do anything in particular. Like I said, I just be myself at this point because that's all I know how to do.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the reality to that. And even though that's something you just said might be like, oh, that's it's simple because hey, I can be myself, but that's the best thing you can do. And people don't understand that's really your best marketing strategy. Why? Because nobody else is like you.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm at the age. I don't- I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm not trying to kill myself to keep up with nobody. I'm not trying to mimic what nobody is doing. I'm tired.
Y'all know this coming from a mama or two who tag.
It's too much energy. Like if you like it, if you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's okay.
Yeah. And that's true, and it is okay. You're gonna have that, and no matter what you do, you're gonna have people who love it, and you're gonna have people who hate it. And
But
regardless,
say this: everybody that has touched it, baby, they.
you had to get that one out. Okay, and I understand that. That's true. I have used Miraculous textures before too. I'm actually a customer of Miraculous texture, and I'm a tomboy. I have very tomboy ways, so I don't. When she was explaining all of this stuff to me, I didn't know what she was talking about. So, but I can say I do love her products. The smell of it, and then it's not heavy. All of that. I remember when I first put her product on, I walked past my husband. He's like, "Oh, what's that smell? What you got in your hair?" Because I'm not into this stuff. I'm like, what you mean hair oil? What you mean? I ain't never put hair oil in my head. But yeah, and you know what? One thing that makes you different too, and this makes the difference between people who's passionate about it and people who just want to make a quick buck. Because one thing that you do is educate.
Yeah.
You educate the what's in your product, what it would do for your hair. You educate on hair type, hair texture. And I know that was a really big thing for your own personal journey. Like you had to figure out your own hair type. Like you said, that's crazy. Like you go all these years and never know how your hair look.
No, you never know.
I never thought about that like that. I really never thought about that.
People that has been getting perms since like 9, 10, 11, and they grow up continuing to get perms. You don't know what your hair look like. And then
That's crazy.
when you stop getting the perm, now this is foreign because I've never dealt with my real hair before. So now what the hell do I even do with it?
Yes. And that's crazy. Okay, I got a question for you. So you in this industry, you're in your young 30s. You
Ew.
you got 2 kids, you got a husband, and you're out here growing a business. What would you tell younger people who's trying to go on the same path as you, who may have kids, a husband, or like other things that they're dealing with? What advice would you give them?
Ooh, don't rush. Take your time. Even if you got to do a pinch of something, a piece of something a day, you can't complete everything in a day. Most definitely when you had kids, girl, I be fighting. So some days like I'm serious. It just means just making a small list of ingredients of something, jotting down the idea that came to my mind within that moment. And that don't even mean grabbing a paper and pen. I could just be putting something in my notes because that's how, I mean, a win is a win some days.
Yeah.
Um, you
I
know,
get that.
small things, don't rush it. And a lot of people start businesses and think that, it's okay to believe that you're going to be successful in a certain amount of time, but it takes time. I've been doing this for 5 years now. It's been
Oh, nice. You made it to the 5-year mark.
5 years, and it's just like I'm still not even halfway of where I want to be. But every day I do, I take small baby steps and, in hopes that where I want to eventually, um,
Yeah,
and not to give up.
that's the biggest key, not to give up. It typically statistically takes 10 years to build a brand. And I want people to understand because people are so quick to hop into something and expect for it to happen overnight. Don't get me wrong, you might have a great
And
launch, right?
there is some people that can jump in and get everything that they're asking for, but realistically, it don't work that way. And
Yes, and we're talking about people who were truly starting. And here's the thing about our generation, and then even the generation before us, a lot of people started from scratch. A lot of people ain't got mama
and
daddy money.
that's what I was gonna say. It take money to get money.
Yeah,
So when we got to go work for dollars to make seriously to make some money.
yeah,
So we're working for the money to put the money elsewhere so they make money.
yeah,
That it takes time. It takes years because we still got bills that needs to be paid. We still got to buy food. You got kids. The kids need stuff. So you pay your money to put here just to put into your business. So it takes a while.
yes. And I will also say this because I'm a mother. Michelle is a mother. And Michelle, back me up if you agree with this. Tell me, like, I don't know about that if you don't agree with this. But if you not saying, and we both have kids and we both understand the struggle of working, running the business, having a kid, having a family. But if you do not have kids, and I love my daughter to pieces, so please don't let this distract you for the love I have for my child. But if you do not have a child, or and you're thinking about having a child or whatever, if you can get things started before your child, I would highly recommend that route.
Let's tell y'all this. I joke at myself. It's very comical. Before I had kids, me saying I was tired, very comical. Um,
I can't stand you.
me thinking I'm stressed out, me thinking I don't have enough time to get things done. The joke was on me. Seriously, I know because now
She over there stressed out.
and this make it make sense. Okay, now
Yeah.
I'm trying to squeeze in a business, going to work, have kids, going back to school. Now, mind you, I have done everything in a divine order that it was supposed to be in, but it was still not enough.
Divine order. I agree. I agree. And you know what? Mothers have superhero strength. We make time for what we have to, and we sacrifice a lot. And that's what I'm saying. And just like she said, if you think you're tired now, honey, start now if you can. Do what you can now. The money you have now, work all the overtime now. Like, do all of that now, because it's definitely, especially if you in a community where you don't have as much help, whether your parents is out of another state, whatever the case may be. Um, if you don't definitely know that you're not gonna have that support, I would highly recommend mother to mother, entrepreneur to entrepreneur to definitely start now. And if you have babies, it's okay. We are all in this together. Yeah, we are all in this together. So I got a question to ask you though.
Oh,
This is more so for yourself. It's the same question, but I'm just gonna redirect it
okay.
because I know you. If you guys knew Michelle, and she doesn't talk a lot, especially personally, and she doesn't open up easily to anybody, but she have grown a lot just as an individual. You know what I mean? When we're talking about this evolution, this entrepreneur evolution or whatever, we're also talking about our personal journeys, the person behind the brand and how we got to where we are. And Michelle has really truly grown. Like if you known her 10 years ago, that's like a whole different person. But my question to you, if you was looking at the younger you, like what would you tell yourself? Like what would you tell yourself to lead yourself in maybe the same path or to have better strength during the journey leading up? Like what would be differently?
What would I have done differently?
Or what would you tell the younger version of yourself?
Ooh. Just this. My focus would have been more so on a career path and a business path. Um, I feel like I was more driven relationship wise back then.
Mm.
Putting my time and effort into people, and that takes up time, that takes up energy. And for me, it took up more time than I would have liked, because now in my early 30s, I'm dang, I could have got so much more done.
Yeah.
So I think looking back, I just really wish I did more work time than playtime. Most.
Yeah. And that's important too because and it's not saying to not have a
And I'm not saying
youth.
I regret. I'm not saying that, but more so have that carved out time to focus on that work, because I was so driven into one thing, right? Instead of
Mm-hmm.
and make carving out time for doing business, carving out time to figure out what I want to do, carve out time to figure out, am I going back to school? Like multiple things. Don't just get stuck on one thing, because when you get stuck on one thing, you got all your eggs in one basket. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do.
Yeah, and I totally get that, Michelle, because me and you went to college together, and I know that you were stuck in a relationship. I was stuck in one too. But what what it is, though, I totally agree. And then also, like, I know that we're young and we're falling in love and everything like that. And I'm not saying don't do it because do it, live life, make those mistakes, right? But also make sure you understand what you want to do and make sure the decision that you're making is not based off of those around you, the relationship you're in.
Have your own individual personality.
Yeah.
It was really tough because I was so bonded with that person at the time. I didn't know who I was, honestly, because everything that person did, I did. You know,
Mm.
like this is Bay. I'm going wherever Bay is going.
And
for
I
me,
get that.
for me, that really backfired. That really backfired because once that was over with, now what? Now I have to figure me out in my late 20s. Now was it mid or was it late?
Mid. We gonna
mid
go with mid.
mid 20s. But no, hey,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And it's funny because when I went through my breakup, I was still in college. And it's amazing when I did in my last year of college, my senior year, I wrote books. I started a non-for-profit. It's amazing what you can do. And I'm not saying relationship is bad, so please don't, that's not the message here. The message is to, like she said, have your own individual personality, figure out what you want. Like these younger years is for curiosity, right? It's not just for partying and hanging out, kicking it with your girls, or being in love or whatever the case may be. Like that's there too, yes, but it's about figuring out what you want,
Yep.
what direction you're going, because like she said, and I'm not knocking it, you can do it in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and above, but what I'm saying, you're still gonna look back and be like, dang, I
Mm,
really could have did this when I was 21. You know what I mean? So it's just about, because time is one thing we cannot get back.
yeah.
So yeah. So thank you so much, Michelle. I really enjoy. I always love talking to you, girl. So yes, I really enjoyed that, and I really hope that the listeners got something from it. I really hope that they can, look at your journey as a testament and say like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it too, right? So yeah, tell the people where they can find you, like your social medias, your website, whatever you want to drop down. Let them know where they can find you.
On all of my social media, I am known as Michelle Terrill. Michelle with two L's, Terrill, two R's, two L's.
And you guys, I'm also gonna drop it wherever we at, whether you're seeing us on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're seeing us, in the description box, there's always gonna be her handles, so you guys will be able to see where to find her as well. So thank you so much, Michelle, for coming on here, and hopefully we get to do this again.
I know. It was fun.